Welcome to this chair yoga practice. Today we're going to practice releasing tension from any areas that might be restricting the breath so that you can breathe better. So we'll start by noticing any tension in different areas and then doing some gentle stretching to release, to stretch, and checking back in with ourselves to see if the breath is flowing a little bit more easily, a little bit more smoothly. So to start, take a comfortable seat in your chair. If you're sitting in a chair like me, you might want to come a little bit to the edge of it, feet a little bit ahead of your knees. You're welcome to sit on the floor for this practice if that's what you prefer. Let's take both hands over the area of the lower abdomen. Your gaze can be soft, looking at a spot on the floor. You might wish to close your eyes. We're going to start to sense where we can feel the breath. You might start to tune into the area where your hands are around the abdomen. You might notice if you can feel breathing in the area of the chest cavity, the side ribs. Perhaps you feel breath around the nose, the nostrils. There's nothing that's incorrect or wrong. We're simply noticing and feeling, observing what our experience is right in this moment. And place your hands resting on your thighs. We're going to do a spinal wave. This is sort of like a seated version of the cat-cow to start to stretch out the area in our belly, and we'll also be stretching the area in our back. So let's start by opening a little bit, tilting the pelvis forward, reaching the chest toward the front. Maybe your elbows reach a little toward the back as you do this. And then we'll round. So my tailbone is tucking, my chin is tucking a bit toward my chest as I round forward. So let this movement be gentle. We're not necessarily looking for a big movement. We're looking to see if as we move, we can create additional space. If it feels comfortable, you might breathe in as you come forward, taking in breath through the front body. Exhaling as you curve backward, releasing that breath. Do about 2 more. Come back to upright. I'm going to take that movement front back that's meant to stretch the abdomen and the back a little bit more to upper back and shoulders. Let's take the hands, interlace them, reach away or reach toward me, and we're going to make that rounded, that cat shape again. Now maybe you tuck your tail even a little more. This time as you reach with your arms, perhaps you feel more spreading behind the shoulder blades. Thinking of the area of the upper back as we reach. Return back to upright. We'll take the hands behind us. If you're in a chair, you might hold on to the edge of a chair. If you're seated, hands can simply come to the floor behind you. And so we'll do sort of the opposite strategy. Again, that version that we did before, that kind of back bending stretch, stretching the front, holding on, lifting the chest, letting the ribs expand, perhaps a gentle gaze upward. And then come back through to center. We'll return the hands to the belly for a moment. We pause to notice and observe, being aware of any shifts that might happen in our breathing. Anything different about the length, the width, the smoothness of the breath? Let's take the hands up to the chest. Again, you might soften or close your eyes. With your hands in this position, once again, notice the movement of the breath. Perhaps there's some movement under your hands. So we were focused on the upper back. And now we're going to focus a little bit more on the chest and back and front shoulders. We'll start the same way. For a moment, let's take the hands behind us again. Grasp your chair if that is comfortable for you. Draw your shoulder blades together as your front body expands forward. Maybe your gaze goes up a little bit. Feeling as your breath is opening the front, expanding the front. And then releasing down. We'll take one hand to the collarbone. So maybe your left hand to right collarbone. And then let the head drop in the opposite way. So your left ear toward your left shoulder. You might gently put some weight here with your hand, almost like a little bit of a pulling of the skin down. As you are here for a few moments, perhaps you can feel some breath movement under your hand. Notice that. Notice any areas they may feel like they're getting some degree of stretch, perhaps along your neck, maybe somewhere still into the upper back, shoulders. And then we'll come back up, we'll observe for a moment, and then come to the second side. So your right hand comes across to the opposite collarbone, a little gentle pressure or a little weight there, a little gentle pressure or weight as you drop your right ear toward your right shoulder. Same thing that we did on the first side, feeling the breath, the movement under your hand, noticing whatever else there is to feel, whether there's a gentle stretch or anything else happening. And then come back through center. Once again, both hands over the center of the chest. Let your chin be soft. Keep your gaze soft or close your eyes. Feel the breath wherever the sensations of breath are showing up. Notice the quality of breath, whether there's any softening to that, any shifting. We'll do one more last movement for the back, this a little bit lower down into the back. Take your feet a little wider apart. It's fine to slide a little back on your chair. We're going to come into a forward fold. Forward folds also have the bonus quality of sometimes they're relaxing for the body and the nervous system. So let's start to lean forward onto the forearms. Now you can stay right here with your elbows resting on your thighs or your forearms resting. Perhaps let your chin soften. Your body today feels like there's more space for you to move forward, then perhaps you let your hands reach toward, if you have a block or a cushion here, maybe they reach toward the floor, but only go to the point where you can find that gentle hang. So for me today, being here, more of a comfortable release. So that's where I'm going to stay for another few moments. Perhaps you notice some sensation of breath more in the back body in this position. Let those sensations be soft, as open, as free as possible. And then use your hands to help yourself up. Keep your feet wide. Our last movement is a lateral stretch, so side to side. And we're going to start by feeling the breath in the rib cage. Take your hands somewhere to your side ribs. And every time we come back to breath observation, we're letting the breath show up however it's showing up. We're not trying to do anything with it. Once you have a sense of how the movement of the breath is now, then take one hand. You can either hold underneath the edge of the chair with your left hand, or you might like to reach across as kind of a little anchor. We'll raise up the other arm and reach to the side. Now, our goal here is to send breath to our side body, so to your right side. So as you reach, also think about a lift here, a lift of the top arm, a lift through your elbow, through your armpits. Perhaps you can feel some of that going down this whole side or lateral chain. Breathe into that area for a moment or two. And then gently help yourself back up. I like to take a brief moment to observe one side to the other before we go to the second side. And then again, you can either hold underneath, I'll show you that version this time, or you can take your hand across like we had before, holding underneath. If you have a chair, you can anchor your hand there. Remember, as we reach up with the left arm, we're reaching all the way from the rib cage. So I want to feel that reach into my armpit, into my elbow, not just with my fingertips, not just with the wrists. But once I reach up, then I find a reach over, keeping both sides of my seat or my bottom on the chair, so I'm not tipping over, to find a better stretch, to find a stretch where my left hip is anchoring me and then my left hand is reaching away in the opposite direction. And then I find the breath to send it there, or at least to visualize the breath going in that area. And then we'll breathe back in and up. Come to center. If you'd like, you can bring your feet in if they were apart. We'll finish returning the hands to the body. Now you may want to come exactly to where we started with both hands over the lower abdominal. Or you can take one hand to the lower abdominal, other hand on the area of the chest, the collarbones. Observe your breath. Look for any spots where maybe it feels like the breath is getting hung up. There's still some tension there. If you find those spots, it's nothing that you did wrong. It's simply some information your body is telling you. The awareness that those are the spots that it might be helpful to go back and give a little bit more intention to. If the breath feels kind of sticky in your ribs, maybe doing that last side stretch once again. I hope this was helpful to you. If you need more movement next, you could do another chair practice or maybe a standing practice to get up and move. You could also try going from this right into one of my meditation practices. let me know what this was like for you, what was most helpful, and comment to tell me what you want to see next. Have a great rest of your day.